overthinking isn't the problem. Your misunderstanding of it is. You see, overthinking isn't actually you overthinking. It's your mind detoxing. And once I finally understood that, that's when the spiral stopped. I remember in 2024, I ascended to the highest vibrational state I've ever been in. To this day, literally, I was in a state of pure, ineffable bliss. Every day I was just feeling so amazing. And this was shortly after I transitioned into a plant-based diet, and doing so made me realize to the deepest level that God was in all living things. So when I truly embodied that and truly understood and understood the fact that God was in all things, it just created this amazing feeling inside of me. Like I felt so connected that like my fears with like insects, like spiders, wasps, all those things, they just disappeared. Like I'll even insert a picture right here to show you. Like I was letting wasps crawl on my arm. I was letting spiders crawl on me and shit. Probably thinking this guy's weird, fam. But like I felt so connected with God that it's like my fears everything just disappeared. So I was at this emotional high point in 2024, feeling one with everything, feeling amazing. And then after the vibrational high, the inevitable low came. And to this day, it's one of the most toughest inner battles I've ever faced in my life. You know, every day throughout the day, I was battling myself. I was warring with myself. There were conversations in my mind, mental arguments, thoughts, negative thoughts of lack, of selfishness. I was arguing with my parents mentally about things that didn't even happen or never even happened, which is funny enough. But it's so crazy because every time these thoughts were coming up, I was trying to negate them. I was trying to intervene. I was trying to stop them. I was trying to use positivity to neutralize them. And it worked sometimes, but it was always temporary relief. And then the spirals came back, the thoughts came back. I didn't know what to do. Like it was so draining. Like it was so draining to the point I nearly just gave up and was like, you know, I'm just gonna let my mind consume me and just enter this depression or whatever and just let it consume me, because I tried fighting it, I tried suppressing it, I tried the positivity, the toxic positivity bullshit, I tried it and none of it worked. So, you know, I ended up nearly giving up. It just felt like this endless battle and war with my own ego. And there's a helicopter going over my crib right now. And the war was so intense, the inner war was so intense that I literally had dreams. Of me fighting like this shadow figure in my house, like a black figure. I was literally fighting a black figure, which was my ego. It represented my ego. I had multiple dreams where I was fighting this black figure in my house because every single day I was literally fighting my own ego. I was fighting negative thoughts, the negativity, and it was mad. I can't lie, it was mad. Like I nearly went into some deep depression from that, which is crazy because I literally went from feeling the closest I've ever been to God in my entire life to that ultimate high, to this ultimate low where I feel like a slave, or I feel like a complete victim to my own mind. So that was a dark period of time, but what helped me get through that was a shift in my perspective. Perspective is always the first step to change. Perspective is literally how you see the world, it's how you see yourself. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So how you experience things in life is purely dependent, well, not purely, but mainly dependent on how you look at it. How you look at the world, how you look at yourself is how it looks back at you. So the shift in perspective came after I realized these uncontrollable thoughts, these endless thoughts weren't me. I realized that this overthinking wasn't me. I mean, I kind of knew it as it was happening, that it was the ego, and I was fighting with my ego, but I didn't truly understand what was causing the endless thoughts. Like, why are there so many thoughts just consuming me? Like, what was the reason? And I figured out something. Most people don't even know the difference, or don't even know that there's two types of overthinking. There's active overthinking and there's passive overthinking. And as I was thinking about this video, I thought, you know what, I might as well write this down and draw this down. So we have overthinking here. We have active overthinking and passive overthinking. These are the two types of overthinking that we experience. We have the active overthinking, which is your conscious mind, your logical decision making. So whether you're planning the next day, whether you're planning a task, whether you're in a store and you're deciding between this type of bread or this type of bread, or which one's cheaper or which one is better quality, like, or just general business decisions, those all come under active overthinking. This is the overthinking that you are consciously like aware of, and you are the one that's exerting the effort. Overthinking feels like effort. So this is the type of overthinking that is okay. Like, there'll be times where we spiral in decisions and we're thinking, what about this, what about that, what about those examples and scenarios. It's just best just to chill, take a few deep breaths and think about what the best solution, what the best decision would be. But then over here, which is where a lot of you are probably experiencing a lot of the inner noise, the inner disharmony, the inner chaos, is the passive overthinking. This is the one that's misunderstood. I mean, both of them are, to be honest, but this passive overthinking comes from your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, where 95% of all of your behavior, all of your behaviors, all your actions, all your thoughts, and all your emotions are controlled from the subconscious. So when you're experiencing the endless thoughts, the spirals, the nighttime overthinking, where you're just laying in bed and thinking about, you know, some dumb shit you said 5-10 years ago, and you're like thinking, why did I say that? I could have said X, Y, Z. What all of that is mental detoxification. Your mind is detoxing. Your mind is offloading and processing thoughts and emotions. That's exactly what's happening. And you're probably thinking, the mind detoxing, like, I didn't even know the mind could detox. As above, so below. As below, so above. The law of correspondence, which is a universal law. It's not going to get too complicated here. The law of correspondence states that whatever happens on one plane or on one level can happen in another. So mental detoxification is something that happens in the mind, and physical detoxification, which most of you, or you already know what that is, occurs in the body. So the detoxification that happens in your body can also happen in your mind, based on the law of correspondence. So the way we think about that is, in physical detoxification, when you eat something, consume something, or your body is in a fasted state, then your body enters healing mode. That's when, you know, you can start getting things like colds, flus, you can start getting breakouts in your skin, acne, you start getting rashes and those things like that, because your body is detoxing, it's trying to get the toxicity out of the body, out of the bloodstream. And when any type of toxicity gets inside of your bloodstream, when it comes out of the cells, that's when your body starts to panic, because the blood is supposed to be kept pure. That's literally the life of us, is our blood. So our body detoxes, and that detoxification throws us off whack. It messes up our skin, it messes up our mood sometimes, makes us have a fever and all these different types of things to get toxicity out. The same thing happens in the mind. All of the unprocessed thoughts and emotions throughout your entire life are stored in a file cabinet of your mind. Your subconscious mind is like a file cabinet that keeps files of all the events that have ever happened in your life, all the traumas, the negative events, all the things that were said to you when you were younger that you remembered. They're all stored in the file cabinet of your mind. So when you're experiencing overthinking and these spirals, and you're laying in your bed or sitting down, and your mind's in a quiet state and is in a relaxed state, there's not much stimulation or things coming in, that's when it begins to offload. That's when it begins to process thoughts and emotions that you haven't allowed to process. And sometimes it may not be your fault that you haven't allowed them to process, because you're working, you're thinking about bills, you're thinking about how you can improve yourself, you've got all these things on your mind that you're thinking about. You have work that you're thinking about. So sometimes there's no time for you to process things that have happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even the week prior, because we're so overstimulated in this Western society. So that's what you experience. That's the root of the inner noise that you experience, is the mere fact that you haven't allowed your mind to process. So that's what passive overthinking is, and that's the root of it. Your mind is detoxing. You have to allow your mind to process thoughts and emotions. Like, especially as men, like, we're taught to suppress, we're taught to, man up and not let anything get to us. But the more you suppress, the more you keep it inside your subconscious mind. And that's when all the uncontrollable thoughts start to surface, because you've been weighing it down, you've been holding it in for so long. It's just like it just bursts out, and that's what you experience as the anxiety, the overthinking. So especially as men, we need to give ourselves time to process thoughts, process emotions, process trauma, process everything. We just have to sit there and let our minds just process it, because if we don't, we're going to continue to spiral, continue to be drowned by our own mind, our own thoughts. So that's the main difference between active and passive overthinking. Active overthinking feels like effort, whereas passive overthinking feels like a war. I'm going to say that one more time. Active overthinking feels like effort, whereas passive overthinking feels like war. That's how you know the difference. If you're overthinking, it feels like effort, like you're trying to get to a conclusion, you're trying to get to an answer, then you know that that's active. How you know it's passive is if the thoughts just won't stop, like it's uncontrollable. It feels like a war, it feels like you're battling yourself, you're fighting yourself. That's passive overthinking. And just know from now on that that type of overthinking is your mind detoxing. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy, you're not weak. It's just your mind detoxing. Your mind is begging you for a break. Your mind is begging you to just allow it to release all the things that you've been holding in. So those are the two different types of overthinking, and I hope this visual helps. If you want to take a screenshot or whatever, literally came up with this as I was thinking about the video. But yeah, man, that's the two types of overthinking, and really understanding the difference and knowing the difference is like a game changer, because when you experience the spirals and the thoughts that keep on coming and the endless negative thoughts, you'll know that my mind is trying to detox right now. And because you know that, it almost provides instant relief, because you don't need to fight it anymore. You just allow it. You allow it to process. And that allowing your mind to process leads me on to the next segment of this video, which is how you can make this practical. So the first exercise that we're going to do that's going to help you stop spirals and stop overthinking instantly is my favorite exercise of all time that has literally changed my life. And I'm not even saying that as a light statement. I've been doing this exercise for nearly a year now, and every single time I do it, it stops anxiety, it stops overthinking, it stops negative thoughts instantly within 10 to 30 seconds. So this is what we're going to do. I call this exercise the inner garden intervention exercise. This is an exercise that's in my ebook, which we'll get into later. But basically, the first thing you're going to do is either sit. We're going to do this sitting down. So sitting down, the first thing you want to do is relax into your chair and just start deep diaphragmatically breathing through your stomach. Breathing through your stomach just naturally calms you down. And then let me put this up. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to open your palms up like this and face them to the ceiling, or face them upwards, and just rest them in a comfortable position. I don't think you can see my hands right now, but they're like this, rested on my hands. And the reason we're doing this is because as soon as you open your palms and open your hands, you'll start to notice tingling sensations in your fingertips. You'll start to notice these different sensations in your palms, because that's universal life energy that's pouring into you. That's literally the energy that's within all living things pouring into your hands. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to open up our palms, relax, keep deep diaphragmatically breathing through your stomach, close your eyes. And just breathe like that. And whilst you're breathing, you can mentally affirm, I am allowing my thoughts to process right now. I am allowing these thoughts to process right now. I am allowing these negative thoughts to process. I am allowing these negative emotions to process. Whatever you're experiencing in the moment, whatever inner disharmony, whatever inner noise is within you, you just mentally affirm that you're releasing it and you're letting it go. Camera tried that, so we're back. As I was saying, the inner garden exercise, inner garden intervention exercise, you can do it for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, however long you need. The point of the exercise is to release and to allow your mind to process. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So that's the first exercise. The second thing I'd recommend is simply refraining from any type of device usage at least an hour before bed. So no social media, no watching any TV or whatever, at least an hour before bed. Why am I recommending this? Because just before we're going to bed, our minds enter a theta brainwave state. That simply just means the waves in our brain are slowing down. We're getting ready to sleep. And because our minds are in alpha, going into theta, our subconscious minds actually become more open and more programmable to whatever we're consuming. So this is why, the hour before you go to bed and the hour after you wake up are sacred, because these are times where your subconscious mind is open and anything that you consume can literally be stored as a file in your file cabinet, because that's what the subconscious mind is. So that's why you often notice, like, if you're scrolling or watching a certain type of video before you go to bed, you'll notice when you wake up the next day, you'll have these endless thoughts that are racing through your mind that literally could be reels or shorts that you watched the night prior. So that's why we want to refrain from using our phones or using any type of device, a PC or TV or whatever, at least an hour before bed. If you can't do that because you got work or something, then that's okay. Just try your best to at least give yourself 30 minutes, 20 minutes to process thoughts for the day, to process what you just done in the day. You know, just no devices, no looking at any screens, just you and your own mind. Some people are going to be scared of that, but this is what you have to do in order to stop the spiral, stop the overthinking. You have to allow your mind, allow your thoughts to process. So that's one thing I'd recommend. And one thing you can do is you can put your phone in airplane mode. That's what I do, at least like an hour and a half before I go to bed. My phone's in airplane mode. I can't go on any type of social medias. No one can access me, whatever. It is what it is. So that's the second thing I'd recommend. Refraining from looking at any type of screens, unless you have blue light blockers or, you know, whatever. But even then, like, just give your mind some time to process. The third thing I would recommend is meditation. Now, this meditation, I'm going to give you two options, and both of them kind of work together. The first one, you're simply just going to be observing your thoughts. I lied. The first one, you're going to be focusing on your breath. We're going to call this one the breath focus meditation. This meditation, you're simply going to close your eyes, and every single time your mind wanders, every time you catch yourself falling into a thought, into anything, you just bring your attention back and your awareness back into your breathing, and you just focus on your breathing. One thing I like to do, or one thing I was doing, is every time you inhale, you just mentally say in, and every time you exhale, you mentally say out. So it's in, out, like you're just saying that mentally, like you're not speaking. Now, the point of this exercise is to improve your awareness and to improve your ability to intervene into those thoughts that are endless, into those thoughts that are uncontrollable. Doing that exercise and bringing your awareness back to your breathing is going to help you intervene in those moments where you catch yourself spiraling. So number two, the second way of meditating is, we're going to call this one the observing meditation, the observation meditation. That sounds better. The observation meditation is simply you, again, closing your eyes, relaxing, and all the thoughts, all the emotions that you experience, you just allow them to process. You allow your mind to process thoughts. Everything you feel when you think, you just allow it. You allow it to process. And the more that you do this, if you just allow it and you stay as an observer, you don't judge, you don't get involved with them, you'll notice after 5, 10, 15, however many minutes it takes you, that those thoughts will cease to exist. So those are the two meditations I recommend. The first one is the breath focus. You're just focusing on your breathing. This improves your awareness and your ability to intervene into your own thoughts. And the second one, which is the observation meditation, you're just doing this to allow your mind to process. Now, the observation meditation is something I do at the start of every day and before I go to bed. This allows me to process any thoughts that I've had for the day, and it just makes my mind literally just go from having baggage or having a lot of things on it to just being empty, literally. This is how you empty your mind. This is how you go back into peace. This is how you have calm clarity. This is how you go from inner chaos to calm clarity, is by just allowing your mind to process thoughts, process emotions. So those are the 3 ways and the 3 practical tools you can use to help you overcome your overthinking. The first one again is, what's the first one again? The inner garden intervention exercise, where you open up your palms, rest them in a nice position. You can do it standing up as well. I don't know if you're gonna see me all the way, but if you're standing, I know I'm out of frame, so I'm not even gonna bother. But if you're standing up, you just have your palms out like this. You just have your palms out like this, you relax, you breathe deeply, and you mentally affirm, I am allowing these thoughts to process. If you believe in a higher power, I know that God exists. I simply just say, God, I enter a conversation with God and I'm like, God, I'm giving you this internal negativity. I'm giving you these thoughts, these negative thoughts. I'm giving you this lust. I'm giving you this high sexual energy. I'm giving you this whatever, because the inner garden intervention exercise I use when I'm experiencing high sexual energy, when I'm feeling like I'm ready to crush something. let me chill. But when I'm in crushing mode, or when I feel myself getting into crushing mode, I use the inner garden intervention exercise. That's why it's a life-changing exercise, because you can use it for so many things. You can use it for negative emotions, overthinking, anxiety. If you feel high sexual energy or highly aroused, you can use that to diffuse it and get back into a normal state. It's a powerful exercise, man. So that's the first exercise, inner garden intervention. The second one, do your best to refrain from looking at any screens at least an hour before bed to allow yourself to process. And the third thing is, during that hour that you are not looking at screens, you are doing one of the two meditations, or you can do them one after the other. But you're meditating, you're allowing your mind to process thoughts, process events that have happened in your day. That's what that sacred hour before you go to bed and that sacred hour after you wake up is for. It's to allow your mind to process, to allow your mind to detox. So those are the three things that you can do to stop overthinking, to stop the spirals, to reclaim control of your mind, to really put yourself in a position where you're not controlled by the thoughts anymore. You're not controlled by the overthinking, by the anxiety. You're here, you're bakey, you're chill, you feel me? If this video resonated with you and you would like to dive deeper into overthinking, into the mind, into the ego, into just inner noise and inner disharmony in general, then I literally wrote a book about all those things. If you're someone who seems like you're fighting against your own mind, then that's who I wrote this book for. So check out the link in the description. My ebook, Quiet the Noise Within. It's not just another self-help book. It's not just motivational speech. It's not toxic positivity bullshit that you see online, because we've all tried that stuff and we all know it doesn't work. This is a repeatable system, a repeatable method that I use on a daily basis, and I've helped other people in my life quiet the inner noise, quiet the inner chaos, turn the inner chaos into calm clarity. So if you're interested, then you can check out the link in the description. And yeah, man, I hope this video helps you quiet the inner noise, stop the spiral, stop the overthinking, and helps you feel like you're more in control and more safe in your own mind. Because, it doesn't matter what stage in life we're in, no matter how old we are or whatever, we all deal with these inner battles. So it's my highest desire that this video helps you, or at least guides you into, being more in control of your own mind and yourself. So I hope this video helps, and let me know in the comments, what methods, if you have any methods that you're using to deal with overthinking, or what you've discovered, or any profound insights. Like, I'm truly interested. Like, I'm forever a student, so I'm always learning and seeing other people's perspectives. So yeah, let me know, man. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next vid, man. Peace.